Fortnite didn't begin as a phenomenon. It began as something else entirely. A cooperative survival game. A project years in development. A release that almost passed quietly. And then, within months, it became something different. Something bigger than a genre. Bigger than a platform. A game that didn't just succeed, but reshaped how games exist. So the question isn't just how Fortnite became popular. The question is, how did Fortnite become the center of gaming itself? Fortnite began development at Epic Games as early as 2011. Its original concept wasn't competitive, it was cooperative. A hybrid between base building systems, survival mechanics and wave-based combat. Players gathered resources during the day and defended against enemies at night. This version, later known as Save the World, focused on teamwork, preparation, long-term progression. But development was slow. The idea was ambitious and difficult to finalize. By the time it released in 2017, the industry had already started shifting. Fortnite at launch wasn't out of place, but it wasn't defying anything either. It felt like a well-crafted system, entering a space that had already become crowded. A game with identity, but not yet momentum. So, what changed? How does a cooperative survival game turn into something entirely different? It doesn't evolve slowly, it pivots at exactly the right moment. In 2017, the success of player-announced battlegrounds revealed something new. Large-scale survival competition worked. Epic Games responded quickly. Within months they released Fortnite Battle Royale. A standalone mode, 100 players, one map, last player standing. But Fortnite added something different. Building. Structures could be created instantly, turning every encounter into something dynamic. This wasn't just positioning, it was improvisation. What made Fortnite stand out wasn't just accessibility, it was unpredictability. Every fight could change in seconds. Every player had tools to reshape the outcome. And unlike other Battle Royale games, Fortnite didn't feel heavy. It felt responsive, fast, almost playful. But mechanics alone don't create dominance. What mattered next was how Fortnite expanded beyond the game itself. Fortnite's next phase wasn't about gameplay, it was about structure. Epic introduced seasonal updates, battle pass progression, constant cosmetic rotation, and importantly, cross-platform play. Players on console, PC and mobile could exist in the same ecosystem. Barriers disappeared. The game wasn't static anymore, it was continuous. Fortnite stopped feeling like a product, it started feeling like a place. You didn't just return for gameplay, you returned to see what changed, what was added, what might disappear. The experience became ongoing. And when a game becomes continuous, it stops competing with other games, it starts replacing them. By 2018-2019, Fortnite reached a level few games ever achieve. It wasn't just popular, it was unavoidable. Millions of concurrent players. Constant updates, global visibility, moments like the rocket launch, map transformations, live concerts turned gameplay into events. Fortnite became synchronized. Players weren't just playing the same game, they were experiencing the same moments at the same time. This created something rare, a shared digital timeline. But sustaining this level of attention comes with a cost, because scale introduces pressure. And pressure demands evolution. For players, this created a new rhythm. You didn't complete Fortnite, you returned to it. Not just for progression, but for what changed, what rotated, what evolved between sessions. And over time, the experience stopped feeling fixed. It became something you check back in on, again and again. But when the game keeps evolving like this, what actually holds it together? Not constant change alone, but the consistency underneath it. Today, Fortnite has expanded far beyond its original release, with creative tools, custom experiences, and evolving systems. It continues to grow in multiple directions, but at its center, one thing remains unchanged: Battle Royale, 100 players, one map, a constantly shifting environment. The core loop still defines the experience. Most players don't return for everything. They return for that moment, dropping in, adapting, competing. The systems around Fortnite have evolved, but the feeling of the match itself has stayed recognizable, familiar, even as everything else changes. And that balance is difficult to maintain, because Fortnite didn't replace its identity, it built around it. Fortnite didn't begin as a revolution, it became one, not by abandoning what it was, but by building around it. The systems changed, the scale expanded, the experience kept evolving, but at its center, the game remained familiar. A drop, a map, a match that starts and ends. And maybe that's why it lasted. Not because it became something completely new, but because it never lost what made it work in the first place. Because Fortnite didn't just grow over time, it learned how to change, without losing itself. New case files release every Monday, Wednesday and Friday.